What's going on, friends and family? This is My Thoughts Uncut. I'm your host, Terrence Manning. Today, we're going to talk about Karine Jean-Pierre. She was the press secretary for Joe Biden. She's going to be on CBS Morning and also The View, of course. Let's take a look at what she has to say.
Joe Biden's former press secretary is here to explain her decision to leave the Democratic Party. Karine Jean-Pierre was a registered Democrat for 20 years. She served in the Obama and then the Biden administrations. And in 2022, she became the first black and openly LGBTQ person to be named White House press secretary.
Sounds like
she was in that role for years. After Biden left office in January, though, she became a registered independent, criticizing how Democrats failed to rally behind the president before he dropped his re-election bid. In her new book, Independent, it's an inside look at a broken White House outside the party lines. That is the subtitle. And Karine Jean-Pierre joins us now. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Dale. Thank you, Nate. Thank you for having me.
So when this book landed on my desk and I saw a broken White House in the subtitle, I have to say, I thought you were going to say that try as you might to convince Joe Biden to drop out of the race, because what we were seeing is what you were seeing, and he was struggling and couldn't do it. I thought you were going to say you were angry at that, but mostly
I did too.
What you said in this book is you're angry at the people who tried to push him out.
Yes, that's correct.
Some Americans are going to say, seriously?
But not just the party that pushed him out, the party as it's behaving today in this moment when we need a Democratic Party to be fighting, to be an opposition party. And that really what ignited the book. Right after the administration, I was just minding my business, right? No longer a public servant, going to the grocery store, going to my kids' school. People would come up to me and strangers, and they would say, what's going on with the Democratic Party? Why aren't they fighting? We knew what was going to happen after this election. Why are they not prepared? So it is the stakes were really high. So it's connected also to the moment that we are in. I'm telling a story, obviously, my story, and how I started thinking about the Democratic Party and my involvement in it. And then fast forward to today, the disappointment, the disillusionment that millions of people have.
But
and
I want to pick up on what Tony was saying, because I too thought that. And you said, people said, why didn't members of his inner circle speak up about what many believe was the apparent decline of Joe Biden? And you said, you're a member of the inner circle and you never saw the decline.
Now, she just said she never saw the decline. That is absurd. Let's see what she says, because there is no way she couldn't see the decline. Everyone saw the decline. Now, I believe Fox News was the only actually news channel that kept talking about his decline. All the other news stations didn't speak about it. But this woman is claiming that he didn't have a decline.
And after that, I wrote, how? Yep. You even write, Karine, that you were on the plane with him going to the debate and you didn't see anything.
Well, when we were on Air Force One going to the debate, you got to remember his campaign people were on the team, his family was on the team. I actually was one of those rare trips that I didn't really see him until after the debate, even though I was on the plane. So really, I want everybody to know that I take this question incredibly seriously. I do. I was his White House press secretary, which means I had a role that saw him practically every day and traveled with him.
And you saw nothing.
For more than 95%. We've always said, we're not going to say, oh, he didn't age. He aged. And he poked.
She's not answering the question. Did you or did you not see a decline? Everyone ages. Every day, everyone ages. Answer the question. Stop ducking it. Stop bobbing and weaving. Answer the question.
Fun at it. We always owned up, and with age comes what happens when you get older.
Which is
but when we talk about the mental acuity, and again, I take this very, very seriously. I never saw anyone who wasn't there. I saw someone who was always engaged. I saw someone who understood policy, pushed us on the policy, and
she saw someone who was always engaged. This man didn't know his left from his right. There's no way she saw that he was always engaged. I even doubt that she was even near him as much. She probably was only around him during the main times when he had to speak, and she had to be there because she's the press secretary. They probably kept her away from him. Now, Now, I do give her credit. She cannot, during that time, she should not have said that she saw a decline and then backtrack and say she didn't see decline. But there's no way she didn't see a decline. Ain't no way.
Also understood history. And there were times, I'll tell you the story, there were times where he would call me into the Oval Office and I would be like, oh no, because I knew whatever he was going to ask me was going to be direct, was going to be about a story he read, about how we're pushing back, how we're pushing a message forward.
And you write about the people within the party pushing him out. Some would describe those people fighting for a replacement candidate is fighting. But you also describe this current state of the Democratic Party as too timid. And what can the Democratic Party do to get out of this timid and even some will say disappointing place?
So timid that you've gotten out of the Democratic Party.
Right. Here's the thing. I actually think that the system is broken. The two-party system is broken, and we need it to be fixed, to be working in order for a democracy.
What? They ask you, how do you fix the Democratic side? And all you say is they're too timid. They're not fighting enough. Their job is to try and do certain things for their people that they represent, the state they represent, and for all the people combined in the United States of America. Their job is not to be the opposition of Trump every single time. Every turn, they're on the opposite side. That's not your job. So if that's what you call fighting, or maybe you don't think they're doing it enough, either way, it's bullshit. They have no solid reasons, no solid answers, no solid solutions on what they should be doing. What we know they should be doing is getting us out of this shutdown, but all they're doing is going on tours to sell books. That's all they're doing.
Look, just this past Saturday, millions of people, 7 million people showed up to the street to talk about No Kings, right? It was a No King rally, to talk about making sure we're fighting for our democracy.
Right.
And it grew. That was the third one. It grew. And so the power should be in the hands of the people, not in the White House, not with one establishment, more broadly.
Yeah.
And so I think as an opposition party, we should see, for example, why aren't there more lawsuits from Democrats? Why are outside groups lining up to do the opposition protests? We should have the Democrats more involved. Why are Democrats?
I'm sorry, she's dumb. Like, what? Why would you name your party the opposition party? That means every single time you hear or see an idea from Trump administration, you're going to oppose it. Even if you think it's a good idea, you're going to oppose it just because you're the opposition party. That is the stupidest name and the stupidest party. They have no ideas. Let's see what they're saying, what she said on The View. See if she says anything else, anything different that we can see.
Question.
Karine, last month, the former Vice President Kamala Harris stopped by our show to promote her new book, and she writes about this fracture between the Biden and Harris teams, as she perceives it, in the White House. She wrote, they, meaning the White House, had a huge comms team. They had Karine Jean-Pierre briefing in the press room every day, but getting anything positive said about my work or any defense against untrue attacks was almost impossible. What's your response to that?
So let me just first say I'm glad that the vice president wrote her book, Her Truth. It's important. Her leadership was critical, especially in her 107 days.
I don't know about you guys, but when people say my truth, that's my pet peeve. It's only the truth. There's only one truth. It's not your truth. It's not your truth. It's the truth. It's not my truth. I hate when people say that.
As on top of the ticket as the Democratic nominee, and I'm very proud to have worked with her. In that part of the book, and I haven't had a chance to read it, I will. Here's what I can say from my part as press secretary and my team in the White House press, is that we did everything that we could to defend her. And there were moments at the podium where I went viral for defending her. And it was something that I knew for myself as a Black woman, we are obviously have connecting upbringing and backgrounds, and even in our storytelling, I knew how important it is for me to do that. And I will tell you, the president also wanted me to make sure that we were defending her. And so I could only speak for me. I could only speak for what I did. And I'm glad that she wrote her book and told her story. And I think it's important for all of us to learn from that. Thank you.
Now, let me ask you this, because you write that the two-party system just is not working. And a lot of Democrats are not happy with the party now. You can see that with the approval rate, by the approval rating. Do you think Democrats are meeting the moment?
No, absolutely not.
How can they meet the moment?
So I think right now the Democratic Party should be acting as the opposition party. There is these are unprecedented times. We should not be acting, or they should not be acting as business as usual. And we need to see some fight, some teeth, some vigor, some strategy. That's what I've been hearing.
She is saying the same exact thing everywhere she goes. She has no ideas, no plans, nothing whatsoever. It's the same rhetoric each and every time. She's on the book tour. This is why she's doing this. Kamala Harris start showing up because she was trying to sell her book. Jake Tapper, the CNN guy, who kept saying, I don't see no decline in Biden. He starts selling his book, and then he starts saying, it was a decline. I saw some signs. And then you have Bernie Sanders, who's going everywhere trying to sell his book. Now, the Democratic Party seems to just be selling books. No solutions, nothing. All they want to do is sell books and protest. But protest about what? You're protesting about not having freedom and having a king in the United States, but you're protesting about it. The Democratic Party's trash. Let me know what you guys think. Hit that like button. Subscribe for that YouTube algorithm. And I see you guys next time. Peace.